Hey YouTube, Chris with CB Model Works. Welcome back to the garage. So in part 2 here, we're going to work on getting the chassis put together and wire up the engine. I'm going to skip most of the painting on the suspension parts because frankly it's kind of boring. Watch me paint every little suspension part. So we're going to hit a couple of the highlights and then most of it's going to be wiring up the engine. So you can see I got it taped off. Chassis pan painted in the same TS8 as the body. And I kind of thought black frame rails would look good, so taped it off, painted it. Don't know if that's how that would be in real life, but I like the look of it, so that's what I did. So all this black is just X18 Tamiya semi-gloss black. Pretty much spraying that for any black that I have on this one. Now the blue for the engine, I didn't know exactly what blue it was, so I just used a little X7 Tamiya blue and just added a few drops of white until I got a color that I liked. Looked close enough, so went with it. And then last little bit of painting for this one. I'm painting the pulleys and then the transmission and the exhaust, all with Mr. Hobby Super Metallic Superfine Silver 2. Very long name, but very good paint. Alright, so now we're going to wire up the distributor using a 0.5mm drill bit. And I zoomed in to hopefully get you a better view. I could barely see what I was doing. And I sped it up a bit because this took quite a while, so I'm only showing about half of it. I'm just trying to make sure that I drill in straight so that they don't cross into the other holes. Alright, so now drilling into the engine block. Same 0.5 drill bit. It was going all good at first, and then bam, right there, break a drill bit. So went up a size to the 6mm or 0.6mm. Continued on. These are just some cheap Amazon drill bits, but they work way better than the ones that came with this little pin vise, which is also from Amazon. Alright, so I was just about to start gluing the distributor on and I realized I better put the engine together first. So I'm throwing the oil pan and the transmission on it. Just a little bit of CA glue. Pop it in there, hold it in place for a couple seconds. So I'm using Detail Master ignition wire set for this one. And I do always like to cut them just a little bit extra long and then can trim them up later. Might be a little excessively long, but it's what works for me. Now I'm just dipping the end in a little bit of CA glue and then popping it right into the distributor and the holes we drilled. They just stay right in there. Alright, so let those sit for a few minutes and then now I want to bend them over. And you got to do this gently so they don't pop back out. And I'm not going in any kind of order here, just kind of randomly picking ones to go to each side. I'm not worried about getting the correct firing order or anything. So then you want to push them down, get them to kind of lay down. That way it looks a little bit more realistic, like they're drooping. And since this is going for like a factory stock look, I didn't want them to be perfectly symmetrical on both sides or like perfectly follow the valve cover or anything like that. I wanted them to look just a little bit random. So as I bend the ends, I'm just kind of holding them in place so it doesn't pull out of the distributor. I did have one that popped out on the other side. It was kind of a pain to get back in. There you go, all wired up. I was about to start gluing in all the chassis parts and I realized I forgot to paint the gas tank. This is some Vallejo Model Air Silver. Excellent brush paint. Haven't had much luck with the airbrush though, not with this stuff. Alright, so magically the engine's in. Because I was recording, my phone got down to 20% and it asked me if I wanted to close, but I wasn't paying attention to it. So it decided to stop recording on me. But you didn't miss much. I'm liking the way this one is looking. I like the contrast of the black rails. This header right here, or exhaust manifold, really had to squeeze past the frame rails. I don't know if I did something wrong or if it's just the way it is, but just something to watch out for if you're going to build this kit. So now putting the exhaust in, it all lined up, went in no problem. Just a little bit of CA glue, hold it a little bit. The only issue I had was on the back side, I glued my finger to the model. So that was fun. All right, we got the last couple pieces here. Our rear subframe assembly. And now we're going to do the front. And did anybody notice what I forgot to put in when I put the rear end in? Yep, the drive shaft. So CA glue's already dried at this point, so I'm trying to finagle this thing in there. Luckily it was bendable, so got it in. No glue needed. So that's going to wrap up the engine and chassis. So thanks for hanging out with me today. Big thanks to Rob and Mike for putting on this group build for us. Please like and subscribe, feel free to comment, and we'll see you in the next video.